I think the craving that we all carry is from the very beginning itself. The moment the world, the universe was created, that craving is embedded. I was fascinated by Gospel of Shri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. Each time I read Ramakrishna's Gospel, I would cry like a child. This attitude was there from very early age. But I had no solution until I came at the feet of Ramchandra of Shahjahanpur. Through meditation, we try to integrate various ideas, various cultures beyond religions without forcing any dogmas. Please don't trust me when it comes to fundamental things like this. Have a scientific approach. Look at it with a lot of skepticism. In the beginning, you must dissect it, you must analyze it. Let's plant some seeds of peace and harmony. When humanity's consciousness will change, they will be willingly inviting different level of consciousness, and when there is a critical mass or egregore reached, then the course of humanity will change altogether.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste. Welcome to the Be with Yoga Master series. Today we have with us the renowned, world acclaimed meditation master, most respected Shri Kamlesh Patel ji, popularly known as Daaji. Daaji's practical teachings arise from his personal experience on the path of heartfulness, which reflects his in-depth spirit of inquiry and respect for the world's greatest spiritual traditions and scientific achievements. Having started his spiritual journey in the young age, Daaji, a man of few words, has become a man of wisdom and built up a pharmacy business in New York City for over 3 decades before being named as a spiritual master in order in the year 2014 of a century-old lineage of Shri Ram Chandra Mission. This tradition is the Sahaja Marga system of Raja Yoga offered by Shri Ram Chandra Mission. As a universal heart-based meditation system, Sahaja Marga is also known as Heartfulness Way. Daaji these days extend his support to millions of spiritual seekers in over 140 countries. a self-processed student of spirituality. He devotes significant time and energy to research in the field of consciousness and spirituality, approaching the subject with scientific methods, a practical approach which stems from his own experience and mastery in the field. Respected Daaji ji, we are really fortunate, blessed to have with us on this show. It's my pleasure to converse with you. It's my privilege to welcome respected Daaji. Namaste Daaji ji.
Namaskaram.
Hearty welcome to you for this Be With Yoga Master series as part of Be With Yoga, Be at Home series organized by Ministry of Ayush, Government of India to observe International Day of Yoga 2021. Now kindly enlighten us regarding the founder of Heartfulness, Puja Babuji, and your association and experience with him.
I was fortunate enough in 1976. I was drawn towards spirituality, and one of my friends who was already meditating, he introduced me to the trainer of this system. Then she was a house lady, very simple house lady. Earlier than that, I was always passionate about spirituality, you see, and my favorite was Shri Ram Paramhansa. I used to be so moved, that I wanted to become like Vivekananda, take a sannyas like he is. So one day, I found myself on the banks of river Narmada, not far from my family home in Bharuch. There, I found some sadhus, Agori Babas. It was a Shiva temple, and I felt very enthusiastic, to join them and become a monk. However, one of the Agori Babas, who was a very elderly person, told me that he regretted having left his family and chose such a Agori life. He advised me to reconsider my decision, and he said, rather he insisted that I must return home. That was a great intervention. My first encounter with this lady, a trainer in Ahmedabad, was remarkable. She put me instantly in a trance. The moment she said, close your eyes, relax, and begin meditation. So I closed my eyes and I began meditation as per her advice, to focus my mind on the heart and imagine that my heart is already filled with divine presence, and that is attracting my attention inward. And that's all. That was the beginning. And moment she said, please begin, I was transported to a different level of consciousness. Instantly I was absorbed. And in that state of absorption, in that state of absolute void, I felt that, now I have arrived home, and I have found my Guru in the form of Shri Babuji of Shahjahanpur. Since then, I have never looked back. I had the occasion of meeting him only after a year, because I was studying in college at that time. Only during summer vacation I could go. That was in the year 1977. Each occasion of meeting him is deeply etched in my memory. Meeting him, used to feel like being lifted in the clouds. Every meditation, every experience of the exchange was replete with meaning and promise of spiritual evolution. One of these incidents is when one morning in Shahjahanpur, I was sitting quietly with him. He used to be very gentle and quiet. Often words were not much exchanged in his teachings. He called me towards him and showed me his hand like this. I was baffled. Then slowly, with his fingernail, he lightly he scratched himself on the back of his and drew a line. Being a winter month, the skin on the back of his hand was so dry and faint white track became visible as he continued. Then he drew several lines emanating from that one line. And then he started smiling. And do you understand? The message that he was trying to convey was keep only one flow of energy. If you make a branch, the energy flow will be reduced to 50%. If you make another branch, your energy will be diluted to 33%. And so this depletion will go on. We have limited energies and we cannot afford to waste such limited energy. He showed me how vital it is to keep our focus on the goal in trying to minimize our needs and desires to the highest possible extent in order to consecrate our energies to the goal of self-realization. You see, it is difficult to put into words the feelings when speaking about the person that is most beloved to you. You see, his life, his work, his legacy, his vision made him the great master par excellence. His work for humanity will surely come more and more to light, and it is for that which we all strive in complete surrender, dedication, and loving remembrance as volunteers of Heartfulness Mission and his disciples.
Thank you, Daaji ji. Please let us know the contribution of heartfulness for the promotion and development of yoga.
Well, Shri Ram Chandra Mission was registered in India in the year 1945. The mission is considered a non-profit spiritual organization in India and in all the countries where it is registered. This organization has been rendering these services even before 1945 in an unofficial way. We didn't have this IDY or International Day of Yoga those days, but we had started yoga every day in most houses. Yoga is a holistic practice and its journey begins with meditation. The whole package should bring about a balance and develop a state of sthit pragya, which Lord Krishna talks about, so that we can advance on our goal of transcending consciousness each day of our life. Patanjali's Yoga Sutras present the Ashtanga Yoga as a way of life. Heartfulness offers a pristine, pure system of Brahma Vidya as a complete set of offerings that includes the entire gamut of yogic practices to revolutionize inner consciousness and our well-being. Our mission, Shri Ram Chandra Mission, is to bring the science and knowledge of heartfulness system and the spiritual benefit it confers to each and everyone for the spiritual upliftment and the good of humanity. It is our mission that this Brahma Vidya be made available to all those who wish to avail of it for no charges. Let us all pray that a new culture of universal peace, harmony, and unity will herald an era of intense spiritual expansion for all humanity. Heartfulness has a consultative status with United Nations and has played a major role in strengthening the spiritual and ethical values of society. This body of knowledge is also available via magazines, books, websites, and discourses, plus workshops, which are conducted by trainers who volunteer their services for the good of humanity. Various organizations, they come for learning all these things. Now, we have made a special effort in bringing so many organizations. They come together in strengthening the values, ethical and spiritual. Keeping this in mind, we reach to villages many schools and colleges to corporate houses, government bodies, and whatnot. The list is ad nauseum. The annual gatherings and special events are focused on the same each year, and of course, now virtually during COVID times, millions join the events from all over the globe. Seminars to help people from all walks of life are conducted all the while. Heartfulness also works for the social services by helping communities like the recent COVID care program, a part of multiple actions taken by the organization. We seek through our practice and through our lives, our lifestyle, our actions and thoughts to bring heartfulness to reach and nourish every part of the world. By our dedicated efforts, we aspire to touch as many lives as possible with love for all so that the world knows as early as can be that the peace and harmony is possible.
Excellent. Dhanyavad. Daji, when you called for unity in realm of yoga amongst all the yoga institutions at the International Yoga Conference of Yoga in the year 2019 at Mysore, where I was also present, what was your vision for the future and how can really be accomplished?
Well, I do remember at Mysore there were so many yoga institutions and so many heads of various yoga institutions were present. In the august presence of Ayush Minister Shri Sripad Nayakji, there we discussed all this that without unity, nothing can be achieved, either in one's life or in a mission as lofty as the one that we have decided to set out for. The reality is that without the heart, without interest, we cannot have yoga. Or, as the word yoga implies, unity or union. The whole system, physical, mental, and spiritual, will have to come together. If we can't, then it will remain disintegrated. And the chakra, the main organ that brings everything integrated, is the heart, the Hridaya chakra. Yoga proposes that our entire system, the physical, mental, and spiritual, must be at any cost be harmonized. For that, we need to change our consciousness. The great Swami Vivekananda, that you all have heard so much about, used to say that the only goal of human life is by adopting spiritual practices to allow it to improve our consciousness to such a level that it can reach the highest superconscious state. He used to say that we have this consciousness, but its nature is like a thin film of water that is sandwiched between two giant oceans. So, heartfulness system shows us how to improve the heart as well as how this thin film of water like consciousness can expand into sky of superconsciousness and dive deeper into the oceans of subconsciousness. I recently met and have been acquainted with the great Ramdev Baba, as well as so many yoga gurus of our country. We are all family members, somehow helping each other. Each of these yoga organizations have an outreach of millions. Take the Heartfulness organization. It has millions of members in 165 countries. Like that, so many organizations, they have their membership. Imagine what would happen if all these yoga organizations came together and as one, they took yoga to the world. We must unite through love. Have you ever noticed how these terrorist organizations, wherever they be, are so very quick and efficient in sharing their practices with each other in order to achieve their common goal of terrorism, isn't it? If they have the knowledge to make a nice bomb, a perfect bomb, they will surely share the information with everybody, everyone in their network, without any bias. They don't charge money for that. I mean, the terrorists. It is free knowledge. It is shared with love, if you may like to call it as love. However, if you ask members of different yoga organizations who are spiritual in nature, ask them to come together and share practices, they are not even able to look into each other's eyes, leave alone share the information with each other. This was our experience and the information we shared jointly at Mysore. So, how will we love? How will we have merger with the ultimate when we cannot even accept each other in this life? My vision is that without unity, nothing is possible. If we are united, we can create a world where yoga and spirituality can become the foundation of every country so that we can all thrive. How to achieve that? I leave it to all viewers watching this program to begin bringing their ideas together and working as one. Just imagine what we can achieve if we all come together, formal or informal members come together. A recent example is the 100-day Yoga for Unity and Well-being program, where we joined and with almost 40 other organizations from all over the globe to offer a virtual 100-day program leading to this International Day of Yoga 2021. The Ministry of Ayush partnered fully with our efforts, guiding it at each and every step on the way. We highly admire the efforts of Mr. Kotecha, Secretary of Ayush, and Sri Basavareddy at Morarji Desai Institute of Yoga. This joint effort is, I believe, unique in the recent history of yoga. It has brought so much joy and participation. Every day, people from all over the world followed the yoga practice sessions of asanas, pranayamas from diverse traditions, followed by heartfulness meditation. Each week, there were lectures by most known yoga experts on all kinds of subjects related to yoga. This was the assemblage of some of best from yoga schools. Millions of people joined, and we had registrations from over 159 countries for this program. Not only did it unite so many organizations to teach yoga, but I'm very happy to tell you that it was entirely offered free of charge. The Yoga for Unity and Well-being program will continue and each year grow to become the Kumbh celebration of yoga for all the entire world.
Thank you. Daaji ji, recently you have constructed a magnificent yogashrama at Kanha, Shantivanam, Hyderabad, having the biggest meditation hall inaugurated during the 75th anniversary of the Shri Ram Chandra Mission, also being called Heartfulness. I too have a privilege to visit and conduct a session there. How this yogashrama will help and coordinate with the heartfulness centers in over 140 countries, and what is its impact for the well-being of the humanity?
Well, our Yogashram, as you rightly call it, is Kanha Santivanam. It is the headquarters of Shri Ram Chandra Mission. Today, Heartfulness is present in over 165 countries and has over 14,000 certified volunteers, the trainers who serve the 20 million members of the organization. We have over 3,000 training centers all over the world. The newly built meditation hall Kanha Santivanam is the biggest in the world that can comfortably accommodate over 80,000 people at the same time. It was inaugurated on the occasion of 75 years of Shri Ram Chandra Mission by no less than our Honorable President of India, Shri Ram Kovind. We had the immense privilege of the virtual presence of Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, at the valedictory celebration of 75 years at Kanha. We have facilities here to accommodate over 40,000 people at a time in our newly constructed rooms and dormitories with all modern amenities. Kanha has plenty of infrastructure such as auditorium, conference center, workshop rooms, a 4-star guest hotel, all entirely air conditioned. They host the hundreds of seminars and workshops conducted for diverse audiences that gather here from everywhere. Kanha Santivanam is a paradise for spiritual seekers to regenerate, practice, learn, study, and grow in the lush green beauty of Kanha. Kanha was a dry, barren land when we started building a few years ago. Today, the Green Kanha initiative had achieved the plantation of over 6 lakhs trees here in just over 5 years. It is the first of its kind eco-forestation and eco-conservation project that is home to over 400 endangered species of plants. The sustainable practices from water conservation to waste management and green energy innovations we have developed here is a vast project that spans over hundreds of acres. Kanha was awarded the Platinum Award by Indian Green Building Council, the first of its kind in India. We are also working hand in hand with United Nations Environment Program as Earth Counselor to ensure the good practices here contribute to the Sustainable Development Goals. Our dedication to the planet's well-being is based on the principle that inner and outer ecology are one and the same system, and they must do and resonate with each other. We have at our innovation the prime breakthrough in enriching the soil, thus making it more fertile. We hope that once the pandemic is behind us, all of you can visit Kanha Santivanam. We welcome you with our hearts.
Thank you very much. Daaji ji, you are very fascinated about yoga research. Let me know how this scientific research helps in development and promotion of yoga.
Well, wherever I share Heartfulness Way, at least with the youth, I tell them that spiritual practices should have a scientific approach. In science, we do not begin with faith. In science, we are ruthless. Examine and cross-examine every aspect until we are sure that the results are as they should be. I propose that we have the same ruthless approach towards spirituality and see how it can take us to the next level, step by step. For long, religions were against scientific discoveries, such as in the Middle Ages. Now, it's time for revenge. How is it a time for revenge? Well, a lot of spiritual research is coming up, and science wants a proof. Earlier, religion wanted a proof from science, and now science seeks proof from religion or spirituality. For example, spiritual experiences can have a neurological impact, and this can be measured. We invite people at Heartfulness Institute to experiment and see for themselves how heartfulness meditation with pranahuti can change your condition, your consciousness in a matter of minutes. I always say that your heart is the laboratory. You are the scientist, and you are the outcome of that experiment. I often invite students to try several different kinds of meditation systems and judge for themselves what is the best and most effective method that has worked for them. By becoming astute observers, we can take a scientific approach to yoga. We had established our research center in Tirupati in 60s, rather 1966 actually, and today the Heartfulness Research Institute is engaged in serious research projects with the objective of studying and understanding contemplative science in link with variety of fields of research such as genetics, psychology, sociology, humanities, and medicine. We are conducting several research studies in collaboration with global research institutions in order to further research in the field of yoga and more specifically heartfulness techniques and the efficacy thereof. These studies are conducted with a multidisciplinary approach with cutting edge tools and research techniques. The results of such research hopes to show the world that yoga is a science and that there is so much that we have not yet discovered. The sages and rishis of India, such as my Adi Guru, Sri Lalaji Maharaj, and his great disciple, the founder of Shri Ram Chandra Mission, Babuji, were in fact scientists. Now, with instruments that can measure with greater perfection such things as our biology, our mental state, and perhaps soon even our consciousness, we will begin to see how science and spirituality merge into one and the same body of knowledge. The marriage between science and spirituality is possible. The Heartfulness Center of Research in joint effort with several universities has a number of PhD students who are currently engaged in exploring the frontiers of consciousness in a whole new light. Several branches are established in Europe, USA, and India for this sort of research work. Since its inception, our yoga gurus have authored and published rare qualities of books that are unique in the philosophy and history of yoga. Written by Shri Ram Chandra Ji of Fatehgarh and Shri Ram Chandra Ji of Shahjahanpur, the founder of this mission, and subsequent yoga gurus and several experts, the publications are a major and remarkable contribution to the body of knowledge of yoga. Their experiential exploration of classical philosophy of yoga at various levels that has produced literature of rare depth and breadth, contributing to the spiritual heritage of humanity.
Excellent. Lastly, everybody wants to know what is the uniqueness of heartfulness.
The main feature is pranahuti, the transmission. Without this pranahuti or transmission, this system is like any other system. That's number one. Number two, the guru, as he transmits, he also prepares thousands and thousands of people who can also transmit exactly like him. So there is no holding back on that. Third thing is the cleaning process. There is no cleaning system adopted in any yogic system actually. A cleaning of what? Clean the pollution created by our thoughts, our habits, by our actions in our subconsciousness. So there are techniques through which we can get rid of this. And I think these are the three fundamental uniqueness of heartfulness way of meditation.
Thank you very much, Daaji. It's always gives me a great pleasure to talk to you. Our Association for Promotion of Yoga for Universal Well-being continues. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Thank you very much.
Pranams. Thank you. Thank you.
जय हिंद, जय भारत. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.